The 1980s were a decade of bold innovation, big hair, and even bigger ambitions in the consumer marketplace. Companies, riding high on economic optimism and the rise of mass marketing, launched products that promised to revolutionize daily life, from what we ate and drank to how we drove, computed, and even dieted. Yet, for every Walkman or MTV that captured the cultural zeitgeist, there were spectacular misfires. Products that flopped so hard they became cautionary tales in boardrooms ever since. These weren't just minor duds. Many cost millions, damaged reputations, and vanished almost as quickly as they appeared. What follows is a look at 12 such disasters from the era, each a reminder that even the smartest executives can occasionally misread the room, or the consumer. One of the most infamous has to be New Coke, launched by Coca-Cola in 1985 amid the so-called Cola Wars with Pepsi. By the early 1980s, Coke's market share had been eroding for years, dipping below Pepsi in some supermarket sales thanks to aggressive taste test campaigns like the Pepsi Challenge, where blind testers often preferred Pepsi's sweeter profile. Coca-Cola, determined to fight back, spent years and millions developing a reformulated version. Smoother, sweeter, more like Pepsi but still distinctly Coke. Taste tests with nearly 200,000 participants reportedly favored the new formula. On April 23, 1985, the company announced it with fanfare, replacing the original entirely. The backlash was immediate and ferocious. Consumers didn't just dislike the taste, they felt betrayed. Coke wasn't merely a soda, it was an American icon, tied to nostalgia, tradition, and emotion. Hotlines were flooded with complaints, protest groups formed, like the Old Cola Drinkers of America, and people hoarded cases of the old stuff. In Seattle, Old Coke was even poured into sewers in protest. Sales tanked, and just 79 days later, Coca-Cola brought back the original as Coca-Cola Classic. New Coke lingered in various forms until the early 2000s, but the episode is often called the marketing blunder of the century. Ironically, the controversy boosted overall Coke sales long-term, reminding everyone how much they loved the original. Not to be outdone in the beverage battles, Pepsi tried its own quirky experiments. In 1989, they introduced Pepsi A.M, a breakfast-oriented cola with 28% more caffeine than regular Pepsi, pitched as a morning pick-me-up alternative to coffee. The idea sounded plausible on paper, caffeine without the coffee ritual. But consumers weren't buying it, literally. People had strong habits around breakfast drinks, and cola just didn't fit the bill for most. It lasted barely a year before quietly disappearing. Pepsi had better luck with other variants, but AM proved that timing matters. Forcing soda into the coffee slot was a stretch too far. Another soda misadventure came from the gum world. Hubba Bubba Soda, launched around 1988 by the Wrigley Company. Capitalizing on the popularity of Hubba Bubba bubblegum, this carbonated drink promised bubblegum flavor in liquid form. Ads showed retro diner scenes with enthusiastic teens, but reality fell flat. The taste was overwhelmingly artificial and cloying, more like drinking gum than enjoying it. It vanished quickly, proving that some flavors belong chewed, not sipped. On the diet front, Ayds, pronounced Ayds, was a weight loss candy from the 1970s that lingered into the 1980s. These caramel-like fudge squares were meant to curb appetite when taken with hot water before meals. It had a loyal following in earlier decades, but by the mid-1980s, the emerging AIDS crisis made the name tragically unfortunate. Sales plummeted as associations became unavoidable, and despite attempts to rebrand, it was discontinued by the late 1980s. Timing, in this case, was everything, and cruelly ironic. Tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds entered the fray with Premier, a smokeless cigarette introduced in 1988. Amid growing anti-smoking sentiment, it heated tobacco rather than burning it, promising less smoke and odor. The company invested heavily, but testers complained it tasted like burning plastic, was hard to light, and smelled odd. Priced higher than regular cigarettes, it flopped spectacularly after just months, costing hundreds of millions. Fast food wasn't immune. McDonald's McDLT, rolled out in 1984, aimed to deliver a fresh burger with a clever two-compartment styrofoam package. One side kept the hot patty and bun warm. The other held cool lettuce and tomato. The jingle, "Keep the hot side hot and the cool side cool," was catchy, but the oversized packaging was environmentally unfriendly even then, and assembly was fiddly. It faded by the early 1990s. Shifting to tech, Apple's Lisa computer, launched in 1983, was a pioneer with a graphical user interface and mouse, years ahead of the Macintosh. Priced at nearly $10,000, over $30,000 today, it targeted businesses but was too expensive and slow compared to IBM PCs. Only about 10,000 sold before discontinuation in 1985, though its tech influenced future Apple successes. The DeLorean DMC-12, immortalized in Back to the Future, was a real 1981 car with gull-winged doors and stainless steel body. Visionary John DeLorean promised innovation, but underpowered engines, quality issues, and a $25,000 price tag, when a Corvette was cheaper, doomed it. Production stopped in 1982 after legal troubles for DeLorean. The Yugo, imported from Yugoslavia starting in 1985, was marketed as America's cheapest new car at under $4,000. Reliability was abysmal. Breakdowns were legendary, parts fell off, and safety was questionable. It became a punchline, with sales collapsing by the early 1990s. Sir Clive Sinclair's C5 electric vehicle from 1985 was a low-slung, pedal-assisted tricycle meant as eco-friendly transport. Top speed, 15 miles per hour, range limited, and dangerously low visibility on roads. Safety concerns and ridicule led to just 14,000 sold before bankruptcy. Finally, Atari's E.T. the Extraterrestrial game, rushed for Christmas 1982, is blamed for contributing to the video game crash. Poor gameplay, falling into pits repeatedly, led to millions of unsold cartridges buried in a landfill. These 12 products highlight the 1980s mix of hubris and hindsight. Companies chased trends, ignored consumer emotions, or over-engineered solutions to non-problems. Yet, failures like these often paved the way for better ideas. New Coke reaffirmed brand loyalty. Tech flops refined future innovations. In the end, the decade's disasters are as memorable as its triumphs, offering lessons that still resonate. Test thoroughly, respect your audience, and sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.